There we go. You can still hear and see me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay, I'll get you to start maybe just with Ottawa. And just before we get to the good stuff, a bit of a spike in cases today, 79. Is that a concern?
No, we should ignore the daily cases. Trend. Look at the trend. However, anytime you have an opportunity to be cautious, you should take that opportunity because, as we've been saying for a while, we're always like a dime turn away from bad news. So celebrate the good news, but do so cautiously and do not take your foot off the brake.
Fair enough. Okay. That being said, the good news is Ottawa is a bit of an outlier in the province right now. Yeah. 1,800 cases the last few days in Ontario, and Ottawa continues to do quite well. Is there any reason as to why you believe that is happening? Why is Ottawa doing so well?
There are a number of possible reasons, and these are controversial. You wouldn't think they're controversial, but given what people are saying on social media, they seem to be controversial. Number one is our population size. We have about 1 million people. Toronto's got, 3 million? And our density is probably less. Now, that's controversial because there are parts of the city that are as dense as the Toronto densest parts. But in general, we have a less dense population, and infectious diseases like dense populations to run through. We have less crowded apartment building tenements, that kind of thing. Number two is our socio-demographics. So we are a white-collar town, a large number of government workers, people who can work from home. We do have blue-collar workers, but not as many. And so there are many neighborhoods in the Toronto region, like Brampton, for example, which have a very high number of people who cannot work from home and who live in multi-generational dwellings. Right. So once one person gets it, it runs throughout the entire family, often to the older population, hence the rise in hospitalizations. So that's a big part of it. It's possible, too, that these people are unable to keep their kids home and must send them to school. Again, I haven't got data to back that up, but it's possible. Then there's a possibility of Toronto as an international travel hub always being a source of reinfection. Okay. Again, no data to back it up, but it's always possible. And what we see around the world is international travel hubs do poorly. New York, Madrid, London, right, etc. And Toronto is one of those places. Lastly is there might be something about the compliance of our population in Ottawa. There might be. Again, can't prove it, but we definitely get a sense that Ottawans are listening to public health guidance a bit more diligently than some other parts of the province. And that might have to do with the size of the population as well. So our leaders like Dr. Vera Etches are recognizable figures. You can see her shopping in the grocery store, for example, and recognize her. She's part of the community. The same can't be said for a public health leader in a very large center who is a more of an anonymous bureaucratic figure. And there's something about personalizing public health advice to help enhance that team feeling, that community feeling. And I think that's adding to our ability to comply better. Again, these are not things that can be quantified well and proven, but that's the sense that what's going on. And as far as lessons for the rest of the province go, the rest of the province can't change their demographics. They can't change their geography. They can't change their age distribution. They can't change their population density. They can change the extent to which they comply to public health guidance. So if Ottawa is an example for anybody, it's on that front.
Gotcha. How encouraging is it that the numbers are this way? I mean, is it fair that people in Ottawa are so happy? I mean, we got praise from the premier. I mean, is it fair to say, like, and to be excited? How encouraging is it?
My feeling is always take the win when offered. Celebrate yourself when things go well. But again, it doesn't mean it's a license to be irresponsible. It just means let's be thankful that we're in that position and let's keep ourselves in that position because we're entering a dangerous time. I don't think people fully understand how dangerous it is, given the amount of people who are actively celebrating and intend to be exceeding their number of recommended exposures the next few weeks. We're going to look at an increase in cases well into January, probably an increase in hospitalizations throughout the province. If Ottawa cannot be one of those places, then that's a good thing.
That being said, you touched on it a little bit. So the holiday season's coming up. Danger times, right? Like, I mean, it's the temptation is there. What should the holiday season look like? We've heard from Ottawa Public Health, stay home, same kind of thing as Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. Only spend time with your household. What is your recommendation? What is your take on what this holiday season should look like, and what is most important for people to remember so that Ottawa, I guess, continues this positive trend, right?
Yeah. So pandemics are also an opportunity to revisit what things are. So with Thanksgiving and Halloween, we had a chance to rethink what is it about Halloween, for example, that we actually value? Is it going to strangers' houses and getting candy, or is it dressing up in scary costumes and seeing your neighbors dressed up? If it's the second, we can have all that safely. Christmas is similar, and holidays in addition to Christmas, like Hanukkah and so forth. Because what is it? Is it a consumer activity? Is it a chance to see a big parade, to go to the mall, to sit on a stranger's lap in the mall? Or is it a chance to revisit family and your intimate surroundings and maybe spend time in your religious faith, that sort of thing? If it's the latter, that can be controlled in a less risky way than the former, right? And so that's my recommendation to people is think about what is really important to you. I don't want to tell people you should not be spending time with your loved ones, because some people desperately need to spend time with their loved ones, and we have to accommodate that. But do so limitedly and safely. There's no need to go to office parties. There's no need to go to multiple homes. Be with your loved ones and be so safely.
Fair enough. So for those people who may be thinking of gathering or doing those things, be mindful of it. The recommendation is household only, and you would say it's important to be very mindful of your decisions, right?
That's exactly it. Be mindful of your decisions, right? And if you have to socialize, and many of us do, but many of us don't. If you have to socialize, there are things you can do to mitigate your risk. You can socially distance. You can wear a mask indoors. You can do it outdoors. Some people are isolating before they get together, which is not ideal, but it does diminish risk. So think about all the tools available to you and apply them all if you can.
Okay. Lastly, our numbers are creeping closely to those that would allow us to move to yellow. Lessen restrictions. Good idea, bad idea. Is that maybe a false sense of hope, or is it maybe a dangerous thing, because that would allow some people to, or would not allow some people, but result in some people maybe becoming more or less diligent,
Sure.
more relaxed? What's your take? Is it a good idea? Should we be looking at maybe moving to yellow? What are the consequences? What are the risks?
Sure. This is an incentive and disincentive game. So if you want to incentivize people's good behaviors, you reward them for their good behaviors. And that reward seems to be economic reward, economic opening. So if we can sustain good numbers for a period of time, that is an indicator that maybe we should drop into a lower level of crisis. But we do it when the time is right, not just as soon as the numbers drop, if they drop and they stay there for a while. But yes, society should be rewarded for doing the right thing.
Okay, perfect. Anything else you want to add?
No, I brace for more hate mail. It's gonna come.
I hope you don't get too much of it.
All right.
Thanks so much for taking the time, man. Appreciate it. Great chat with you again.
Bye-bye.